USDA, they've updated their expectations for the trade deficit for the 2025 year. It did increase from $42.5 billion to $45.5 billion. And a lot of that, is outside of the scope of maybe what we would consider, large scale production ag throughout the Midwest. So a lot of that deals with, fruits and other things and, different products like that. But on the what I would call the core Midwestern ag side, looking at things like soybeans, you're still seeing losses expected moving forward through the year. That's not really being fully offset by an increase in demand, maybe for livestock and other products. And Ben, I guess a lot of this is kind of centered around, uncertainty of how trade interactions could go as the new administration takes over. What's your kind of finger on the pulse here, looking at your expectations as we do change over into the new administration?
So I think my overall, impression of this is very much in line with what you started to say or what you were saying at the beginning of your intro there. There's a lot of things that impact these trade numbers, both from the products that are exported out of the United States and the imports that are coming into the United States, and a lot of products that are high valued in nature and really, I think, speak to the consumer buying power right now of U.S. consumers. We're just coming out of a holiday trading weekend, and numbers are looking very favorable, or at least, economists and people are looking at this saying, hey, consumers are continuing to spend on holiday luxury goods, and I think that feeds somewhat into these trade numbers. People are still willing to spend on high priced imports into the United States, and that's driving that import number higher. And then, very similar to what you said, when we think about our core goods here in the Midwest, we certainly have a lot of corn, soybeans, and wheat that we could export, and we are exporting, albeit at lower prices, and so that lowers the value. But then you think of our higher valued cuts of meat, especially that come here from the Midwest on the beef cattle side, and we just don't have, we have fewer cattle available, or like we have heavier cattle. That's kind of one of the things, but it's one of those that we don't have a lot of excess meat to export to international destinations, and so that's helped lowering that export number on our side as well. So there's a lot of things that play into this. I always say that I follow the trade numbers, the ag trade numbers. They certainly are a big headline number, but at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of other stories that go into these that people often overlook.